Ever feel like, just keeping up with health information is basically a full-time job?
Oh, absolutely.
You read one thing, then something else says the opposite, and you're just left thinking, what actually makes a difference?
Yeah, totally confusing.
We get it. You're looking for clarity, right? For the essential stuff without all that noise.
And that's exactly what we're doing today. We've got this listener submission, a really deep look into the American Heart Association's Life's Essential 8.
Right.
Think of this as like your streamlined guide, understanding the core pillars for cardiovascular health and, well, a longer, healthier life.
Precisely. Our mission here in this deep dive is to pull out those crucial insights from this detailed research summary. We'll look at how these 8 essential components came about, how they've evolved.
And the really powerful impact they can have on you.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack each of these, 8 key areas, see how they work on their own, but also how they work together to boost your health, your longevity.
Consider this your shortcut, basically, getting the expert view on what really counts for your heart and, well, your overall well-being.
Let's dive in.
Okay, let's start with that first pillar. It's actually an update from their previous list, isn't it? Eat better. So what's the main message?
Well, what's really interesting is this shift. It's more towards looking at your overall dietary pattern. Yeah. The AHA now really emphasizes a diet rich in whole foods. So lots of fruits, vegetables, lean protein.
Okay.
And they stress plant-based sources like beans, nuts, seeds, and also healthy fats like non-tropical vegetable oils. Think olive oil, canola oil.
So things like the DHH diet, Mediterranean diet, those fit in.
Exactly. They actually encourage those kinds of patterns.
So it's less about obsessing over, single nutrients and more about the big picture of how you eat.
That's it precisely. The old Life Simple 7 looked at like 5 specific things. LEA takes this much broader view. It recognizes how different foods and nutrients kind of work together synergistically. And a diet like this gives you important things like fiber, antioxidants.
Antioxidants, those protect your cells.
Right, exactly. Protect against damage.
And how does eating this way directly help your heart?
Well, several ways. These foods support a healthy gut microbiome. That's the bacteria in your gut.
Right.
They protect against that cell damage, like you said. And the healthy unsaturated fats can really improve your blood lipid profiles.
Your cholesterol levels and things like that.
Yeah, the different types of fat in your blood.
So the key is basically load up on the good stuff, ease off the other stuff.
That's, a simple but pretty effective way to put it. The AHA recommends limiting processed foods, things with lots of added sugars, and too much sodium.
Why is limiting this so important?
It's crucial for managing your weight, your blood pressure, blood sugar levels, and also keeping inflammation under control.
Right.
And like you mentioned, those patterns, DHH and Mediterranean, they offer really practical, real-world ways to actually do this.
Okay, makes sense. Let's move to pillar number 2. Be more active. We all kind of know exercise is good, but what are the specific recommendations here in LE8?
So for adults, the AHA suggests aiming for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity.
Like brisk walking.
Yeah, or 75 minutes of vigorous activity like running. Or, a combination of the two.
Spread throughout the week.
Yeah, ideally spread out. And they also recommend adding muscle strengthening activities like lifting weights or using resistance bands at least 2 days a week.
Okay. And for kids?
For kids and teens, it's more 60 minutes or more of moderate to vigorous activity daily.
That sounds like quite a bit. What's actually happening in the body when we're active? What are the benefits?
Oh, the benefits are really extensive. Physical activity helps lower your blood pressure. It improves your insulin sensitivity.
That's key for blood sugar control.
Absolutely. It helps with weight management, reduces inflammation, makes your muscles better at pulling oxygen from your blood. It even helps manage stress hormones and improves your blood lipids by increasing that HDL cholesterol, the good kind.
Now, I think I read something interesting about how the benefits, accumulate. It's not just a straight line, is it? More activity always equals more benefit.
That's a really great point. Often, the biggest jump in benefits comes when you go from being, completely inactive to doing even just a little bit. The gains tend to sort of plateau at very, very high levels of activity. So the really crucial message is any activity is better than none.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, even small amounts of movement can start making a difference.
So for people who find maybe intense workouts a bit much.
Just getting started is key.
Right. So what are the big picture advantages? Why push ourselves to be more active?
Think about a significantly lower risk of major health problems. Heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, even things like dementia and some types of cancer.
Wow.
Plus, you get improvements in sleep, sharper thinking, stronger bones, and just, better mental well-being.
I think I heard about a study on weekend warriors, too, people who pack it all in.
Yes. That study suggested that even if you concentrate your activity into just 1 or 2 days a week, you can still get substantial health benefits, which is, potentially good news for people with really busy schedules.
Definitely. Okay, pillar number 3. This is one we probably all understand is important. Quit tobacco. But LE8 has an update here.
It does. The core message is the same, obviously.
Yeah.
Avoid all inhaled nicotine products, full stop.
Right.
But LE8 now explicitly calls out e-cigarettes and vaping devices right alongside traditional cigarettes.
Okay, so it's not just smoke anymore.
Exactly. And they also really double down on the dangers of secondhand smoke because the evidence there just keeps growing.
We know smoking is bad for the heart, obviously, but can you paint a clearer picture of why? What's it actually doing?
Well, look, tobacco use is a huge preventable cause of death, and it's a massive contributor to heart disease deaths.
Yeah.
The chemicals in the smoke, they cause oxidative injury that's damage at the cellular level.
Yeah.
They harm the lining of your blood vessels, make your blood more likely to clot, increase inflammation.
Just a whole cascade of bad effects.
Totally. It puts extra strain on the heart, messes with your cholesterol levels, contributes to insulin resistance, and reduces how much oxygen your blood can even carry.
And nicotine itself.
Nicotine has immediate effects too. It jacks up your heart rate and blood pressure, narrows your blood vessels.
So it's hitting you from multiple angles.
It really is. It dramatically increases your risk for heart attacks, strokes, sudden cardiac death, and it speeds up atherosclerosis, that hardening and narrowing of the arteries.
But there's good news if you quit.
Oh, absolutely. The benefits of quitting start almost right away, and they become really substantial over the long term. It's one of the best things you can do.
That's a powerful message. Okay, let's move to a new component in Life's Essential 8. Get healthy sleep. This feels like a big recognition of sleep's importance.
It absolutely is. Yeah. The AHA now recommends that most adults aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night.
7 to 9, okay.
And they have specific, slightly different recommendations for kids and teenagers who generally need more sleep.
So why add sleep now?
Well, the evidence linking sleep directly to cardiovascular health has just become incredibly strong,
Yeah.
It couldn't be ignored.
So it's about more than just feeling tired or rested.
Oh, much more. When your sleep is consistently off, either too short or disrupted, it messes with your nervous system, particularly the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response.
Okay.
It disrupts hormones, increases inflammation, negatively affects how well the lining of your blood vessels works. That's called endothelial function. It can really throw off your metabolism.
How so?
It can lead towards insulin resistance, changes in appetite-controlling hormones, things like that.
Interesting. I think I heard something about a U-shaped curve with sleep duration.
Yeah, that's right. Research suggests that both consistently short sleep and consistently long sleep are associated with worse health outcomes.
Long sleep, too. That's surprising.
It is, and it might actually reflect other underlying health issues sometimes. But the main point is that poor quality or insufficient sleep significantly bumps up your risk for serious cardiovascular problems.
Like what?
Things like high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, that's an irregular heartbeat coronary artery disease.
Yeah.
Also, cardiometabolic conditions like type 2 diabetes and obesity, stroke, cognitive decline, even mood disorders.
Wow. Clearly, we need to prioritize sleep more than maybe many of us do.
Definitely.
Okay, next up, manage weight. We know excess weight is a risk factor. What's the focus in LE8?
The primary goal is to achieve and maintain a healthy body weight. Generally, that means aiming for a BMI, body mass index, below 25.
BMI, okay.
But importantly, they're also putting more emphasis now on waist circumference.
Why waist circumference?
Because it's a better indicator of abdominal obesity, that fat stored around your middle. And that type of fat, often called visceral fat, carries particular risks.
Right, the belly fat. Why is that fat so problematic?
Well, that visceral fat is metabolically very active. It actively contributes to higher blood pressure, unhealthy cholesterol, and triglyceride levels, type 2 diabetes, mainly through insulin resistance, and a sort of constant low-level state of inflammation throughout the body.
And those are all major drivers of heart disease.
Exactly. So while BMI is a useful screening tool, it definitely has limitations. Looking at where the fat is distributed, especially around the abdomen, gives a much clearer picture of cardiovascular risk.
So someone could have a normal BMI but still be at higher risk if they carry a lot of weight around their middle.
Precisely. That's sometimes called normal weight obesity.
Okay.
And carrying that excess weight, particularly the visceral fat, significantly increases your risk for coronary artery disease, for heart failure, for atrial fibrillation, stroke, and type 2 diabetes.
Got it. Okay, let's shift to control cholesterol. Another one where LE8 brought some updates, right? What's the main change here?
The key update is to focus on non-HDL cholesterol. You'll often see it written as non-HDLC. That's now the preferred measure for tracking and managing cholesterol.
Non-HDL. Why the change from looking at, say, total cholesterol or just LDL?
Couple of key reasons. First, non-HDL cholesterol can be accurately measured even if you haven't fasted, which just makes testing more convenient for people.
Okay, practical point.
But more importantly, biologically, non-HDL cholesterol captures all the cholesterol found in lipoprotein particles that are known to cause atherosclerosis, the plaque buildup.
So it includes LDL, the bad cholesterol.
Right. But it also includes others like VLDL, IDL, lipoprotein. Basically, all the potentially troublemaking particles are lumped together in that one number.
Okay. And the basic idea of the cholesterol hypothesis still holds, that these particles getting into artery walls is the problem.
Yes, fundamentally, especially LDL cholesterol.
Yeah.
But these other particles contribute too. They infiltrate the artery wall, trigger an inflammatory response, lead to plaque formation, which narrows the arteries.
Restricting blood flow.
Exactly. And eventually those plaques can become unstable, rupture, and cause acute events like a heart attack or stroke.
So keeping that non-HDL number down is really key to preventing clogged arteries.
It is. Persistently high levels of non-HDLC and LDLC are considered primary drivers of atherosclerosis and all the related cardiovascular diseases.
All right, moving on. We're at manage blood sugar, another component updated from Life's Simple 7. What's essential here?
The core message is the importance of monitoring your blood glucose levels. The main update is the inclusion and recommendation of HbA1c testing.
HbA1c, what's that?
It's a blood test that gives you an average picture of your blood sugar control over the previous 2 to 3 months.
So not just a snapshot like a finger prick.
Exactly. It provides a more stable long-term view compared to a single fasting glucose reading, which can fluctuate quite a bit day to day. It's especially recommended for people who have diabetes or are at high risk for it.
And why is keeping blood sugar in check so vital for heart health specifically?
Well, diabetes itself is a major independent risk factor for cardiovascular disease. Having diabetes increases your risk of heart disease or stroke by about 2 to 4 times.
2 to 4 times, wow.
Yeah, when there's excess glucose, excess sugar in your blood chronically, it damages blood vessels. It promotes that endothelial dysfunction we talked about. It accelerates atherosclerosis, makes blood clot more easily, and contributes to inflammation.
And it often comes with other risk factors too, doesn't it?
Very often. People with diabetes frequently also have high blood pressure, unhealthy cholesterol levels, obesity.
Yeah.
It's often a cluster of risks.
So high blood sugar has this sort of domino effect on the cardiovascular system.
You could say that.
Yeah.
And uncontrolled high blood sugar significantly raises the risk of not just heart attack and stroke, but also heart failure, peripheral artery disease, that's poor circulation in the legs, and the microvascular complications too.
Like kidney problems, nerve damage.
Exactly. Kidney disease, neuropathy, retinopathy, eye problems.
Okay, that's clear. And finally, the 8th pillar, manage blood pressure. Most people understand high blood pressure is bad, but what are the specific LE8 guidelines?
So the AHA defines optimal blood pressure as less than 120 for the top number systolic and less than 80 for the bottom number diastolic.
Yeah.
So what's the 120 over 80?
Okay, optimal. And what's considered high?
Hypertension or high blood pressure is generally defined as 130 over 80 or higher.
What's the actual danger when those numbers creep up and stay high?
Well, high blood pressure puts constant extra strain on your heart muscle and on your blood vessel walls.
Makes sense.
Over time, this can cause the main pumping chamber of the heart, the left ventricle, to thicken and enlarge, which isn't good. Eventually, it can weaken the heart.
And the blood vessels.
It damages that delicate inner lining, the endothelium, which speeds up atherosclerosis and also makes the artery stiffer and less flexible.
Is one number more important than the other? Systolic versus diastolic?
Generally, the systolic pressure, that top number, is considered particularly important for predicting cardiovascular risk, especially as people get older.
And the potential consequences if high blood pressure isn't controlled. They can be pretty serious.
Oh, absolutely. It's a major risk factor for heart attack, stroke, heart failure, chronic kidney disease, and even vision loss.
You know, as we've gone through all 8 of these, eat better, be more active, quit tobacco, get healthy sleep, manage weight, control cholesterol, manage blood sugar, manage blood pressure. It really strikes me how interconnected they all are.
That's a really, really crucial point. They don't operate in isolation at all.
Right, like changing one seems to impact others.
Definitely. Think about it. Improve your diet, get more active. That often leads to weight loss, which in turn helps lower blood pressure, improve blood sugar control, improve cholesterol levels.
The links together.
Or think about it the other way. Poor sleep can mess with your appetite hormones and metabolism.
Right.
That can lead to weight gain, which then negatively impacts blood pressure, glucose.
Yeah.
You see the cascade.
Yeah.
And that interconnectedness is a big reason why the AHA shifted focus in the diet part, emphasizing overall patterns rather than just single nutrients.
Yeah.
Because it really is the whole lifestyle package that matters most.
So it's not just about like checking off 8 separate boxes. It's more about fostering an overall healthier way of living where these things support each other.
Exactly. That's the ideal. And the really powerful finding is that the cumulative effect of adopting more of these essential 8 habits is where you see the truly significant health benefits. It's synergistic, greater than just the sum of the individual parts.
Okay, this is where it gets really compelling. Can you give us some, concrete numbers? How much difference does it actually make when people embrace more of these habits?
The data is really striking. For instance, there was a big study called Pre-Dimed. It found about a 66% reduction in major cardiovascular events, things like heart attack, stroke, for people who met 4 or more of the old Life Simple 7 metrics compared to those who met 0 or 1.
66%. That's huge.
It's massive. And consistently across studies, we see this dose-response relationship. The more these healthy lifestyle factors you have in the ideal range, the lower your risk tends to be.
Okay, that's preventing events. What about just living longer? Does following LE8 add years to your life?
It absolutely seems to. And maybe even more importantly, it adds healthy years.
Yeah.
There was a study presented just last year at a big AHA conference.
Okay.
It estimated that U.S. adults who had ideal LE8 scores at age 50 could expect to live about 8 years longer on average compared to those with poor scores.
8 years.
Yeah, about 7.5 for men, nearly 9 for women in that study. And another big study from the UK found similar gains, around 5 to 6 extra years.
But you said healthy years.
Right. This is key. The UK study specifically looked at disease-free life expectancy, or health span.
Okay.
And they found that people with ideal cardiovascular health didn't just live longer, they spent a much larger proportion of those extra years free from major chronic diseases like heart disease, stroke, diabetes, cancer.
So it's not just adding years to life, but life to years, less time being sick.
Exactly. It's what we call compression of morbidity, pushing illness toward the very end of a longer life.
That's a powerful concept.
It really is. And the direct cardiovascular disease prevention stats are just as strong.
Like what?
Well, a pooled analysis of several large U.S. groups found that for every 10-point increase in your LE8 score, remember it scored 0 to 100, you saw roughly a 22% to 40% lower risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Wow.
And overall, comparing people with high LE8 scores to those with low scores, the risk reduction was enormous, like 78% lower CVD risk for men, 83% for women.
That's incredible. Does it break down by specific types of heart disease?
Yes, they looked at that too. For each 10-point increase in score, the risk reduction was significant for coronary heart disease, for stroke, and for heart failure.
So it protects against the major killers.
Absolutely. And there's a very strong inverse correlation found between LE8 scores and actually dying from cardiovascular causes. Higher score, lower risk of death.
What about people who've already had a heart issue, like a heart attack? Is it too late then?
No, not at all. Even then, maintaining these healthy habits seems protective. Research using the older LS7 metrics showed that people who had better cardiovascular health scores in middle age had significantly better outcomes after having a heart attack later on.
Better outcomes how?
Like a 43% reduction in subsequent adverse events, future heart problems, death. It suggests these healthy habits build a kind of physiological resilience.
That's really hopeful. Now, beyond just the heart and blood vessels, are there other health advantages linked to LE8?
Yes, the benefits seem to ripple outwards. For example, higher scores on the older LS7 were linked to a lower risk of developing high blood pressure later on. Also, a significantly reduced likelihood of developing cognitive impairment. And some studies even show better performance on cognitive tests, memory, attention in people with higher scores.
So potentially good for the brain, too.
It seems so. And there's growing evidence connecting good cardiovascular health to a reduced risk of dementia, certain types of cancer, osteoarthritis, even age-related macular degeneration, and eye condition.
It really seems like taking care of your heart takes care of a lot of other things, too.
It really does appear to be foundational for overall health and healthy aging.
And you mentioned LE8, the updated version, is even better at predicting risk than the old life's Simple 7.
That's what the early research suggests. Because it used that continuous 0 to 100 score, it allows for a more granular assessment of risk. It can differentiate risk levels more finely.
More precise.
Exactly. And some studies suggest it might be potentially superior for predicting specific conditions like coronary artery plaque buildup, stroke risk, maybe even depression. And it seems to improve the accuracy of classifying someone's overall CVD risk compared to the older system.
This all sounds incredibly valuable, really powerful information, but how do we actually, put this into practice? Is this relevant for everybody, no matter their age?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
The principles of Life's Essential 8 are relevant across the entire lifespan.
Okay.
Starting early is crucial. Establishing these healthy habits in childhood and adolescence really builds the foundation for lifelong cardiovascular health.
But studies show kids aren't always doing great on these metrics.
Unfortunately, no. The prevalence of ideal cardiovascular health is often surprisingly low, even in teenagers, which really highlights the need for early intervention and focus. There's even an intergenerational impact. Parents' health affects kids' health.
Right. What about middle age?
Middle age is a really critical window. Maintaining optimal scores during these years can significantly prevent the onset of disease later in life. And, as we discussed, it also improves your prognosis if you do experience a cardiovascular event.
And for older adults, is it still beneficial then?
Definitely. Adhering to LE8 principles in older age is strongly associated with healthier aging, increased longevity, and importantly, that extended health span more years of functional, active living.
How does it work at that stage?
It seems to positively influence the aging process right down to the molecular and cellular level, impacting some of the known hallmarks of aging.
You mentioned before there might be some specific considerations for older adults.
Yes, absolutely. For instance, dietary quality becomes key, ensuring adequate protein and overall energy intake to prevent muscle loss.
Right.
Exercise recommendations should be tailored, often adding specific focus on balance and flexibility training alongside aerobic and resistance work. For sleep problems, behavioral interventions are often preferred over medications. And crucially, quitting smoking provides significant benefits at any age, and older adults may need more tailored support to succeed. It shows that need for a more personalized approach.
That makes a lot of sense. Adapting the advice. So how can someone listening right now actually figure out where they stand with these Essential 8?
Yeah, that's the practical question. The American Heart Association has a great online tool called My Life Check.
My Life Check.
You can go online, answer questions about your health metrics and habits, things like blood pressure, cholesterol if you know them, diet, activity levels, etc.
And what does it give you?
It calculates your personalized LE8 score from 0 to 100. It helps you understand your specific risk factors, where you're doing well, where there's room for improvement, and it offers actionable suggestions and resources.
So it kind of empowers you with that knowledge.
Exactly. It promotes self-awareness and can be a really good starting point for making positive changes.
That sounds really useful. Now, we've spent a lot of time on the 8 specific metrics, but the AHA research also talks about some foundational context, right? Things that influence our ability to even meet these metrics.
You're absolutely right. They emphasize 2 key foundational areas: psychological health and social determinants of health.
Psychological health, so mental well-being.
Exactly. There's a very clear bidirectional link. Positive psychological factors, optimism, purpose in life, social support are often associated with better cardiovascular health behaviors and outcomes.
And the flip side?
Chronic stress, depression, anxiety, these are linked to poorer cardiovascular health and increased risk.
So why isn't mental health one of the scored 8?
It's mainly due to challenges in finding standardized, easily measurable metrics that work across large populations right now. But it's recognized as absolutely critical, a foundation upon which the other 8 rest.
Okay. And the other foundation was social determinants of health. What does that mean?
Social determinants of health, or SDOH, are basically the conditions in the environments where people are born, live, learn, work, play, worship, and age.
So things like
economic stability, income, employment, education access and quality, your neighborhood environment safety, walkability, access to healthy food, your social context, community support, discrimination, and of course, access to quality health care.
And how do these affect heart health?
They have a profound influence on an individual's or a community's ability to adopt healthy behaviors and manage health factors. They are major drivers of the health disparities we see in cardiovascular disease outcomes.
So things outside of our direct individual control.
Largely, yes. Living in a food desert makes eating healthy harder. Unsafe neighborhoods discourage physical activity. Chronic stress from financial instability takes a toll. Even urbanization, living in big cities, can sometimes amplify these risks depending on the specific conditions.
And like psychological health, these aren't scored in LE8.
Right. They're considered foundational context. Again, measurement is complex and evolving, and these factors often require community-level or policy-level solutions, not just individual action.
So it's highlighting that achieving good heart health isn't solely about individual willpower.
Exactly. While individual choices matter hugely, we have to acknowledge that the ability to make healthy choices is heavily influenced by these broader psychological and social factors. Addressing them is crucial for a more holistic and equitable approach to improving cardiovascular health for everyone. It means thinking beyond just educating individuals and working to create healthier environments and reduce systemic inequities.
This has been a really incredibly insightful deep dive into life's essential 8. The evidence backing these guidelines seems overwhelmingly strong.
It really is. The data consistently shows that adopting these principles offers a powerful path towards not just better cardiovascular health, but a longer life, more healthy years, and a lower burden for many chronic diseases.
And it feels like LE8 provides a much clearer, more actionable roadmap for people to, take charge of their own health, especially with tools like that My Life Check.
Yeah, it empowers individuals. And of course, healthcare providers have a massive role here, educating patients, integrating LE8 assessment and guidance into routine care.
Absolutely.
And then there's the bigger picture, the public health imperative. Creating those supportive environments, enacting policies that address the social determinants, making the healthy choice the easy choice for everyone.
It's also good to remember, as you said, that this framework isn't static, right? Life's essential 8 will likely keep evolving as science learns more.
No doubt. It reflects our current best understanding, but science moves forward. It also helps drive future research, pushing us towards more personalized prevention strategies, digging deeper into health disparities, and understanding that complex interplay between heart health and other areas like brain health across our whole lives.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe a final thought for you, our listener. Thinking about these 8 essential components, eating better, moving more, quitting tobacco, sleeping well, managing weight, controlling cholesterol, blood sugar, blood pressure, which one resonates most strongly with you right now?
Yeah, where might there be an opportunity?
Exactly. And maybe what's one small sustainable step you could potentially take, maybe starting today, just to move a little closer towards that goal, towards a healthier, longer life, hopefully free from the burden of preventable heart disease?
And perhaps checking out that My Life Check tool online could be a good first move.
Definitely worth exploring.